Right, sorry for the delay. We had a few technical issues, as usual. Right. Thank you for joining us today on this 3-year anniversary of Georgina's disappearance. We never imagined we would still be here 3 years later, campaigning to find Georgina and to find answers. 157 weeks to be precise. That's 1,099 days. Imagine your son or daughter or loved one left the house one morning, never ever to be seen again, with no explanation or no reason. It's a pretty tough thing to bear. Many of you have been with us from the beginning of this distressing journey, and we thank you all for your support. Another anniversary passes, and it barely seems real still. Hard to believe that we haven't found out what has happened to Georgina or where she may be. To constantly live on this roller coaster of ups and downs, not knowing, having been given information and given us hope of new leads, to be slowly let down again, it's torturous. For 3 years, keep Georgina's story out in the public domain, along with so many other people that go missing daily. For those luckier families, there are loved ones are found and come home. Some are never found, and some are found deceased, sadly. My heart goes out to all those families, and we share their pain. Especially those families of long-term missing, some as long as 35 years. To us, 3 years is a lifetime. How daunting to think of 35 years. 3 years of missing Georgina's beautiful smile, her voice, the sound of her footsteps when she came up the road. I miss those so much. Her boys miss her so much and wait each day for Mummy to come home, sometimes looking out of the window for her. We never really know what life has in store for us. Over the past few years, people have contacted us with recommendations of mediums and psychics whom they thought were extremely good and might be able to help us. Let me tell you that I can't even begin to count how many times I've had readings and still not been given any credible information. When your daughter goes missing and there are no answers, you exhaust all means necessary to find out what has happened. I think in our situation, you need to be open to everything. Since the global pandemic started almost a year ago, this affected our campaign and the investigation immensely. We were unable to get out to replace posters and banners, and we are aware that the large banners on Broadwater Bridge are desperately needing replacing. Postering and looking after the banners is a job in itself, as they often need rehanging or cleaning or just taken down through weather and wear and tear. We also have a fundraiser which helps us towards posters and banners, and if anyone would like to contribute, we are always very, very grateful, and you can find the link on the Missing Georgina page. The podcast series, in which was started by Donald McIntyre and Steve Langridge maybe 18 months ago, should hopefully, once the lockdown has eased and we are able to meet up again, the podcast is hoped to be completed and put out on various platforms in June or July at the latest. Originally, it had been hoped that they would have been completed by now, but COVID-19 got in the way of everything. Also, during that time that we were in talks with a TV company about a possible documentary about Georgina's case, it would have been good if this could have been taken up again. Recently, in January, we was contacted by a member of the public who said that they could positively identify the female alongside Georgina in the Chapel Road CCTV. Also in January, we was contacted again by another person who had seen our posting about the witness coming forward. They also identified the female, and our hopes were raised intensely. This could bring new leads to the investigation. Even if the named female didn't know what happened to Georgina that day, she may have known where she was going. Where did she leave her? Who had they seen or met that day? Some new information that might have helped. But upon being interviewed by the police, the female stated that this wasn't her in the CCTV. Therefore, the police could not corroborate this information. Unfortunately, we are back to square one again. I know that some of you are aware of the recent human remains recently found in Sussex at West Wittering, North Chichester and Ashdown Forest, which we were informed about by the police team. Although they didn't think there was any connection to Georgina's investigation, everything needs to be ruled out. Although very, very distressing to hear this possibly could be Georgina, We want to leave no stone unturned, so realise everything needed to be looked into. The Ashdown Forest remains were identified and ruled out, but we're still waiting on the others. Although we have been told that near West Wittering was an old burial ground, forensics are still looking into these. These are just a few of the things that we endure and continue to do so on a regular basis. We know someone knows something, and we really hope by now that somebody would have come forward with vital information that is so desperately needed. Somebody doesn't just disappear without a trace, with no leads. There has to be something. Georgina is a family girl from a very close family. There must be answers somewhere, and if anyone is listening today who knows anything or has any information, no matter how small, please, please come forward. It can be done anonymously through Sussex Police 101, quoting Operation Parvo, or Crime Stoppers on 0800 555 111, or Missing People UK on 116 000. We are desperate for those answers. Please help us. I'd now like to read a poem written by Sarah, Georgina's older sister. Missing, missing, but never from my heart. Missing, the world is hard. My world is hard without you in it. Please give me a sign that you're okay in any way. Missing, and I pray every day for an answer that you are okay. Some days I'm strong and some days I'm not, because you are missing and my heart bleeds, because you are not here and it doesn't have the answers it needs. Your memories and smiles are all that's left, for you are missing and my life has become dark and your absence has left a mark. Missing. Please come back with your warmth and laughter. I know it's too much to ask, because you are missing for long, not just today or yesterday, and I miss you in every way. Missing, but your love is never forgotten. Now I want to talk to you about hope, and it's all my feelings on hope and what hope. Hope is what it takes to get us through anything, to get us through this agonising journey since it started 3 years ago. It keeps us going when we feel like quitting, when it all gets overwhelming. Hope sometimes gives us peace and belief that we will get through as a family. From the beginning, I place hope at the forefront of my mind. Hope is my focus each day. For without hope, then what do we have? All we want is answers. Hope is our driving force each day that keeps us pushing on. That little bit of light keeps us hanging in there, even if it is just merely by a thread. I will never ever let go of that fine, fine thread, that connection to Georgina, that thread of hope. Hope is being able to see there is light, despite all the darkness. Hope is the expectation that something will happen to make the situation just a little bit more bearable. Hope is a match in the dark tunnel, a moment of light, just enough to reveal the path ahead, and ultimately the way out. Hope is all we have, for if we don't have hope, we have nothing. We always hold hope for you, Georgina, that we will never give up. And I've got a message from us to Georgina. Dear daughter, even if you are not close by, I want you to know we love you always. We remember your precious laughter, morning, noon and night. We will never give up on you, your loving family. And lastly, to keep Georgina in our memory, I chose to name a star after her name at the star registers. And it is called the Georgina Garcella star, which is in the Phoenix constellation. It's a bright star, and incidentally, the Phoenix isn't too far from the Parvo constellation, which is the name of the police operation team for this investigation. The Phoenix is a minor constellation in the southern sky named after the mythical phoenix known as the southern birds. One of those stars is now known as the Georgina Garcella star. The name, incidentally, of the brightest star is the Alpha Phoenica, from the Arabic word al-anqa, the phoenix. And this is the phoenix star, as you can see at the here. This is the phoenix constellation, and just down here I've just marked out where the Pavo constellation is, just incidentally. And here is Georgina's bright star certificate to hold her in our memory always. Keep shining. Thank you for coming tonight, and thank you for all of your support always. We are grateful, and please keep sharing all the posts all the time. And as again, if anybody has any information, no matter how small, we urge you, please, please, please come forward, because this is 3 years now, and it's just living in pain, because we don't know what's happened to Georgina. We don't know anything, and if you can imagine 3 years of that, it's too much. So any little bit of information might help us find our girl. Thank you.